They didn't just cut her off. They erased her. No announcement. No farewell episode. No teary goodbye montage. Just silence, sharp, sudden, and cold. One minute Jenny Slatten was part of TLC's most watched love story. The next, she was gone. Vanished like she'd never existed. And here's the chilling part fans were never supposed to know. TLC didn't fire her publicly. They buried her quietly. Her name disappeared from call sheets. Her footage was scrubbed from promos. It wasn't a breakup. It was an execution in silence. Why? What secret was so dangerous that a network built on heartbreak and humiliation decided this woman had to vanish without a trace? Because Jenny Slatten did the unthinkable. She asked to be paid fairly. For 10 years, she had given everything. Her tears, her dignity, her sanity. She'd faced mockery from viewers, rejection from Sumit's family, and endless ridicule online. And through it all, TLC was there, documenting every heartbreak, every scream, every tear. Because pain meant profit. But the moment Jenny peeked behind the curtain, the moment she started asking questions about where the money was actually going, the network that fed on her vulnerability decided she was no longer valuable. She was dangerous. Think about that. A woman who cried on national TV for a decade, humiliated and heartbroken in front of millions, was silenced not for doing wrong, but for daring to ask what she was worth. That's the part fans never saw. The quiet betrayal that cut deeper than anything her in-laws ever said. And here's where it gets darker, because this wasn't an accident. This was orchestrated. The contain and freeze out order. An internal directive whispered between producers and executives: contain the story, freeze the couple out, erase them before they talk. It sounds like a conspiracy until you start connecting the dots. The missing promos, the skipped reunion, the sudden halt in communication, the Instagram messages that went from casual emojis to complete silence. Jenny and Sumit didn't quit. They didn't retire. They were ghosted, professionally, surgically, and permanently. And if you're wondering why TLC, a network that has built empires on emotional chaos, would do this so quietly, you're not alone. Because the truth is, this wasn't just about money. It was about control. See, in reality TV, silence is the most powerful weapon. Networks don't need to fight you if they can simply erase you. Jenny found out the hard way. When she noticed her paycheck hadn't changed in years, while newer couples were making double for half the drama, she started asking questions. Why are we still under old contracts? Why don't we get royalties from streaming? Why do other couples have publicists while we have none? And then, the switch flipped. No more filming calls. No production updates. No replies. It's like being cut off from oxygen. One moment you're the face of a franchise, the next, you're invisible. Sumit tried reaching out to producers he'd known for years. People who had been in their home, filmed their wedding, laughed with them off camera. Every message left on read. Every voicemail ignored. Even crew members who used to joke with them online suddenly went silent. Jenny thought maybe it was a scheduling delay. But when she checked TLC's promo page, their faces were gone, replaced by new couples, new controversies, and new heartbreaks to sell. It wasn't a glitch. It was an exorcism. And the worst part, fans didn't notice. Because TLC made sure they didn't. While Jenny and Sumit sat in silence, the network flooded social media with shiny distractions, new scandals, new spin-offs, new love triangles to keep the chaos machine rolling. But behind those lights, behind the fake smiles, there was a secret blacklist. A silent document no one outside the network was supposed to see. And Jenny's name was on it. That's when the calls stopped. That's when the invitations vanished. That's when the containment began. Now, here's something you might not know. In the world of reality television, when a show wants to bury someone, they don't need to destroy them publicly. They just need to isolate them quietly enough that no one asks questions. Producers told editors not to include Jenny or Sumit in flashbacks. Digital teams were told not to repost their clips. Casting departments removed their names from rotation. Even mentions of them in franchise meetings were discouraged. In less than a week, 10 years of work, gone, no recognition, no closure, no dignity. Jenny said it best to a close friend: "It felt like they didn't just drop us, they buried us alive." Let that sink in. A decade of loyalty, endless tears, global fame, and then nothing. No one defended her, no one thanked her, no one said goodbye. It was as if she had never existed at all. And here's where the horror really begins. Because when Jenny tried to understand what had happened, when she started quietly reaching out, she was met with a warning. You should just let it go. Not an apology. Not an explanation. A warning. Don't make this worse. That phrase would haunt them. Because worse didn't mean emotional fallout. Worse, meant legal threats. See, Jenny and Sumit had signed ironclad NDAs back when they first joined the franchise. Contracts that looked harmless at the time, until they tried to speak. Now, silence wasn't just a punishment, it was survival. They couldn't talk to fans. They couldn't share what really happened. Even a vague Instagram caption could trigger a cease and desist. And here's the cruel irony. The same network that had spent years profiting off their private pain was now policing their silence. Jenny once said off camera, "They made millions from my tears." And when she stopped crying, they stopped calling. If you're feeling angry, you should. Because what happened to Jenny and Sumit isn't just betrayal. It's the dark underbelly of reality TV. A place where the most vulnerable people are turned into characters, their heartbreak turned into currency. And the second they start asking for humanity, they're erased. But Jenny's story doesn't end there. Because silence can only last so long, and what TLC didn't count on was that the truth always leaks. Before I reveal what really triggered the network's panic, the forbidden secret that Jenny accidentally uncovered, do one small thing for me. Hit that subscribe button. Because this story is one TLC would rather you never hear. And what comes next is the part they've tried to bury for years. Now let's peel back the curtain. They thought the cameras had stopped rolling. But the truth is, TLC never stopped watching. After that last episode aired, Jenny believed her story had finally found peace. Sumit was by her side, the world had witnessed their struggle, and love had supposedly conquered tradition. Yet behind closed doors, a very different story was being written. TLC's producers had one final clause in that contract, a silent trap disguised as a renewal offer. Jenny didn't sign right away, and that hesitation became her undoing. Suddenly, meetings were postponed. Footage disappeared, and anonymous insiders began leaking stories painting her as unstable, controlling, even fake. Was it a coincidence or a warning? Because Sumit, still tied to his multi-season deal, was told he couldn't speak publicly about Jenny without permission. The man who once defied his entire family for her was now legally gagged. The network owned his silence. And that's when fans began noticing something strange. Old clips vanished from TLC's official channels. Scenes of Jenny's emotional breakdowns were edited out of reruns. Even Instagram posts featuring her were quietly deleted. TLC didn't erase her overnight, they made her invisible, one algorithmic shadow at a time. Now ask yourself this. Why would a network that built its empire on love conquers all want to bury the couple that embodied it? Some say Jenny broke a rule, a non-disclosure clause that forbade her from speaking about production tactics. Others whisper she exposed the ugly truth, that many real moments were orchestrated to maximize outrage, not authenticity. Whatever the cause, the result was the same. Jenny was exiled from the TLC universe. Her calls went unanswered, her checks stopped arriving, and the same producers who once filmed her tears now acted like she never existed. Meanwhile, Sumit kept smiling on social media, carefully posting neutral captions. Behind those smiles, insiders claim was fear. Fear of breaching his contract, fear of losing everything. At fan conventions, staff quietly steered interviewers away from mentioning Jenny. Even reality TV bloggers received subtle reminders from TLC's PR wing, focus on new couples, not the past. But the audience didn't forget. The "Fi Justice for Jenny" hashtag trended for days before mysteriously disappearing from search results. And that's when people realized this wasn't just a breakup between lovers. It was a breakup between truth and the network that sold it. You see, TLC wasn't banning Jenny out of pettiness.